my name is Nicole and this video is about my favorite camera lens. I have been doing digital and film photography for over 10 years now, and I have shot many different kinds of lenses, and I'm here to talk about my favorite one that I use almost every chance that I can get. So if you like photography content, please like and subscribe, because I will be making more photography content, both digital and film. So ironically, my favorite lens is also the last lens that I purchased. So I purchased my current favorite lens 6 years ago, so I've gotten a lot of use of it and I still use it to this day. So I guess you could say that when you buy the right lens for you, it basically cures you of gas, aka gear acquisition syndrome, which is very prevalent in the photography community. And prior to purchasing this lens, I was alternating between 3 different camera lenses, and I still use those lenses, so I still have them in my inventory, but they don't compare to my favorite one. And after purchasing my current favorite lens, I was like, I wish I bought this sooner. However, when I started doing photography, I was a student, so I was on a budget, and the lens that I like the most is very expensive. So at the time, it was really hard to justify blowing that much money on a lens. And for reference, the other 3 lenses that I do have are cheaper. So that is also why I didn't buy my current favorite lens long time ago. And that's okay, because I still got a lot of use out of my other lenses and they still bring me joy, but just not as much as my favorite lens. So my favorite camera lens is my 35mm with an f-stop of 1.4, and as you can see, it's already attached to my camera, so it's ready to just grab and go. And I'll tell you guys why I like using this particular lens, and I'll show you guys photos that I took with this lens. In addition, I just want to say that this lens is also one of the main reasons I purchased a Canon EOS 3, because Canon EOS 3 film camera can take EF lenses, and the 35mm f1.4 is an EF lens, so I can also use it on the Canon EOS 3 film camera. And I think that says a lot, because I like doing film photography and I really wanted to use my favorite lens, so that's why I bought the Canon EOS 3. First reason is that 35mm is as close as you can get to the human eye's field of view. So to me, I find that photos taken at a 35mm focal length are very comforting, because it's like how I see it in real life, the photo that I'm about to take. So that is one of the main reasons that I like 35mm focal length. Also, since it's wide but not too wide, and if you shoot ultra wide lenses like a 17mm or 24mm, you sometimes get distortion, especially if you're taking pictures of like buildings and stuff. So with 35mm focal length, there's less distortion, which I think is a great thing, because it looks more natural and the photo just in general looks a little nicer. The second reason that I like using the 35mm f1.4 is the versatility. What is nice about this focal length is that you can use it for many different situations. You can use it for street photography, you can use it for food photos, you can use it for portraits with that when you want to showcase the background. So to me, it's a very versatile length. It's not too wide, where it's more for landscapes only, and it's not too zoomed in like a 50 or an 85mm, which is more suited for portraits. So in general, it's a very versatile focal length that you can use for a variety of photo subjects. In other words, I would say this lens is good for things like food photography, people, portraits, landscapes, things like that, but it's obviously not good for certain situations, like I would say sports, where you have to really zoom in, or taking pictures of wildlife. But if you're into just taking pictures of like everyday situations or sceneries, then 35mm is one of the best focal lengths. Another reason I really like this lens is that it has great low light performance. Since it has an f-stop of 1.4, this lens handles low light situations very well. So if you're out at night or you're indoors where the lighting is subpar, the 35mm f1.4 lens is really great for situations like that because it's not too zoomed in like a 50mm where it may not be suitable for the indoors because you're in a constricted space, and it also has the f1.4 which is great for low light. So it's really useful in that sense for many situations where lighting isn't perfect or ideal. In addition, another great reason this lens is super awesome is that it is lightweight. Now, granted, it's a prime lens, so prime lenses usually are lightweight, but compared to like a zoom lens, like a 24-70 or 24-105 or like a 70-200, this lens is very light, which makes it great for traveling because you don't want to be like switching lenses too often or carrying like a bunch of gear because that can get very tiring. So 35mm is a great lens that is sharp and is great for a bunch of situations. I always take this lens on trips because I find that it is that versatile. I in particular like taking pictures of landscape, buildings, and also food, so I find that this lens sort of is able to hit all those marks, versus if I bought just an ultra wide lens, it wouldn't really be good for like food photos or photos of people and my friends. And if I brought a lens that was like 50 or 80mm, I would find that very constricting and not good enough for nice landscape photos. Another reason I like this lens is also because it is a prime lens. So at the 35mm focal length and it being a prime lens, it forces me to be more creative with the shots that I take. And I think as a photographer, having a prime lens really forces you to try to be more adventurous and creative with your work. And I think that is a great skill that can always be improved upon. So that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I really like photography, both digital and film, so I just wanted to talk about my favorite lens. So please like, subscribe, and comment below on what your favorite lens is. Anyways, thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!